The Packers have won 4 straight. They now control their own destiny in the NFC North. Here's head coach Mike McCarthy on their chances of making the playoffs.
Well, control your own destiny is what you want, but really, the only time I've talked about playoffs is, I hit them again with it. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, 10 wins. So, and that's really all we've really focused on. We know we're at 8. We have to get to 9, and then obviously, next week I'll be answering the question the same way. So, just really not to be cliche-ish, but just staying true to what's right in front of us.
When you look at Green Bay's remaining schedule compared to the Lions' remaining schedule, of course, the Packers obviously 1 game back. They need in Week 17. Dylan, your take on what you see?
I like the Packers here. They're one of the hottest teams in football. They got help from the New York Giants by beating the Lions, which allowed the Pack to control their own destiny. So if they do wind up winning out, they should send a little thank you card to Big Blue. But the reality here is I think Green Bay is the better team. I've thought that all along. It does not mean, I don't mean to slight Detroit because I think they've had a fantastic season. I think they've overachieved. I thought they would clearly be in 3rd in this division behind the Packers and the Vikings. They have a great chance to win the division, and they control their own destiny as well. So that's not to be lost in this. But I think although the Detroit Lions have overachieved, although they've proved a lot of doubters like myself wrong all year long, I just still think the Green Bay Packers are the better team. I think when you look at those last 2 games for each team respectively, I think the fact that obviously one of them is against each other, that other game, I'd rather play the Vikings than go to Dallas to play the Cowboys. So for the time being, I think the other of the 2 games favors the Packers. And I think within that game where they face head up, I like the Packers. I think the Packers are the better team. I know they're going to have to go to Detroit to win that game. But if they do, they're going to be NFC North champions. I think they win 2 in a row. I think they complete the 6-game win streak to end the regular season. And I think it has them with a home game when it's all said and done because of being NFC North champs.
And when you look at the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers seems to be back to his old self. We saw the big play that he had to Jordy Nelson to set up that game-winning field goal against the Bears, and then Ty Montgomery has given them a rushing attack. I think that was the question. What's going to happen with them running the football? Eddie Lacy was out, no James Starks. They were so one-dimensional at one point, but when you look at the big game, over 100 yards for Montgomery, that makes the difference. They have playmakers. Detroit, on the other hand, can you really rely on any of those guys? Matt Stafford, who can you point to say that's a playmaker for Detroit?
Yeah, it's probably Golden Tate. And I'd rather the playmakers that are on Green Bay. Plus, I think we just expect people to snap their fingers. Like the Green Bay Packers, Eddie Lacy goes down. We just expect, okay, now who's going to be the running back? Sometimes it takes a couple weeks to figure out, all right, how do we adjust? Do we slide a receiver in a running back? We don't really have a great running back that we can rely on with Starks and Lacy dealing with some injuries. Well, now they've figured out how to handle that rushing attack with Montgomery, and they've adjusted their offense. Now that they've done that, they look pretty damn good, don't they?